The site we're creating today is called EventBrite.ca. There's a lot of different event type websites. We're going to be creating the functionality and a lot of the look, but not all of it, because we are going to be using a plugin to build the functionality. And that's what you see in this area here, where you enter an event name or a location or a date. That's going to be created by the plugin, and we don't have a lot of flexibility in editing that because we don't want to use custom CSS for this. And we're going to create something similar to the homepage and the footer and the header. And we're going to create individual listings for events. So you can have people come to your site and create events. You can create your own events. You can charge people to create events. You can have events that have, I'll just click on this one here. So this looks like on EventBrite. You'll be able to have events that offer free tickets. This one has free tickets. You'll be able to offer ones with paid tickets or donation or all the above. Be able to add all kinds of information to the event itself, and this is what we're going to go ahead and try to duplicate as close as we can. Not 100%, because EventBrite likely has a whole lot of people working on this, and they're probably not using Elementor, and they're using custom coding, so we're kind of stuck within the confines of Elementor, and it doesn't do everything. It does a lot, but it does not do everything. So where we're starting out from is right here. Domain called EventBeam. This is on local, it's not a real domain. Just developing this locally, and this is it. 2017 theme, nothing going on. And we're going to create an EventBrite type of website. So let's log in. Now that we're in, we're going to install some plugins. So let's go to plugins first and then add new. The first thing we're going to do is get the plugin, which is WP Event Manager. There's some others that are similar. The one we're using is the one in blue here called WP Event Manager. Click on Install Now and then Activate. There's a quick wizard to walk through, which basically builds a couple pages for you. So we're just going to quickly do that. Continue to page setup. Click on there. We're going to have a post an event page where people can create an event. And all that page is just the shortcode. So you can put the shortcode in a lot of different places on your site and create that same functionality. Although it does have to be a full width page because there's a lot of stuff to fill in there, but you can move it around if you want to. It's going to be an event dashboard page where if you are an event creator, you can see who's registered for the event and see everything, all their information and things like that. And there's the events page itself, which is the functionality that we see on the homepage at EventBrite, where you're actually able to search for events and see what events are currently on schedule and available. I'm going to click on Create Pages to create all of those. And now we're done. There's some documentation here to check out documentation if you want to. Pretty handy. I'm going to click on Dismiss up here. We have a new option on the left called Event Listings. If we go to all events, we currently have nothing, but as events are created on the site, you'll be able to see them here. You click on Add New Event, you can create a new one from the back end. This plugin with the event creator page allows people to create it from the front end. So they can create a user account on your site, and they can submit events, which then have to be approved by the webmaster. And then if they're approved, then the event appears on the website. But you can also build them in the back end. By default, this is all the information that's asked for, and there's quite a lot. And you can ask for more. If you go to Field Editor, you can also ask for less if you want to. You can add new fields by going down to the bottom, clicking on Add Field. There's different sections. So for the organizer field, this is the person who is organizing the event. There's a field, Add Field section, Add Field button. This is for the event itself, information about the event. You add a new field to that one using this. Click on the X on the right to remove fields, make them required or not required. You can move them around by clicking and dragging. And I'm not going to change any of these because really what fields you're going to choose will depend on your needs. As long as you know where to add them, which is this button down here, then that's really all you have to know. Under settings, we're going to add some add-ons later to have more settings. The business model for this plugin is this core version is free, so you can create events, post events, and those all have to be free events for the free version of the plugin. And the add-on is a paid add-on. So if we go to here, premium add-ons, we'll see what kind of add-ons they have. And there's quite a few. The database backup is free. Event Manager, which is the plugin we just installed, is free. But then you can have a calendar, which shows a nice looking calendar, which we're going to see in a minute, that has all the events listed on the calendar. You can hover over them, see all their information. Google Maps add-on adds a Google Maps widget to all the events if they have an address, which is awesome. Registrations add-on allows you to take registrations to an event. The sell tickets allows you to sell tickets to an event. So we're going to add those two add-ons, and I believe we're adding the attendee information, which allows you to get more information from attendees as they fill the registration form. And there's all kinds of other add-ons as well. Depending on your needs, you can choose them or not choose them. There's even EventBrite integration. So we're trying to mimic EventBrite, but you can also integrate with EventBrite. So you can pull in listings from there. If your listings database is a little thin right now, you can pull them in from EventBrite and have EventBrite listings listed as well. And there's another page, which is just a handful, I believe. That's a handful of add-ons at the top. So the business model is you get the free core plugin to create events and have them on your site, have people coming to your events. But then you want to add certain functionality, you have to pay for each one. And the other event managers I've found, you have to pay upfront right away to get some of this functionality that we have in here for free. So it's a great little plugin. For the settings, here we see the Google API key, which we need for Google listings and helping Google identify the location of an event and put it on the map. We have a lot of settings in here that we're not going to go over right now because these will make more sense as we build out the site. But the ones I'm going to activate are categories and event types. And categories are basically the category of events. Maybe you have board game nights on your site, and that would be like a hobby type event. So I think the category for that would be hobby, and the event type would be board game. But you can have other hobby events, like street hockey could be a hobby. Swimming with friends could be a hobby. So you have categories and events which aren't on by default, but if we turn these on, there's going to be new additions on the side here. Click on save. You're going to see those new additions right here. And then they're just like regular category pages. You can just add categories as like regular WordPress categories under posts and categories. And the types are also very similar. After this quick rundown of the plugin, let's actually start building this thing out. So we're going to add another plugin now. We're going to add Elementor Pro. So Elementor Free first, then Elementor Pro. So just look for Elementor. This is the free version. Click on install now and then activate. Have this nice welcome page here. Can add another plugin. Plugins, add new. Let's try that again. Plugins, add new. And I'm going to upload it this time. This is going to be Elementor Pro, which you can get in the link down below this video in the description. It's an affiliate link. So if you do buy Elementor Pro through that, Elementor does send me a few dollars commission. It does not make it more expensive for you to do that, but it helps me keep the lights on, helps me keep making these videos, and it helps. So if you do buy Elementor Pro through that link, thank you very much. I'm going to click on install now and then activate plugin. And I'm also going to install a new theme. Let's go to themes, add new, and I'm going to look for Ocean WP, which is one of my favorite themes right now. Click on install, click on activate. I'm going to delete all these others just because they're not needed. I'm going to enter my license key for Elementor. Click on that purple button there. After you buy Elementor Pro, you'll get an email with the license key. You also have an Elementor account where you can find the license key. Just paste it in here. Click on activate. Now we have an active license. Now we can start building out the menu at the top. Pretty basic menu. And the footer at the bottom. It's a pretty crazy footer. And the first thing I want to do is just create the menus so that we can build it out faster. So we have a menu at the top, like we do for most websites, but we also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different menus at the bottom. So we're going to go into WordPress now and build those menus, and not going to be active links. We're just going to duplicate the appearance, and then you can choose which links to build or not on your site, but we just want to make it look like this and recreate the functionality. So let's do the header first. Let's go to appearance and then menus. I'm going to call this main nav. Create menu. I'm going to create custom links. I'm going to make the first one the home page. Call it home with a capital. And what I'm going to do to make this easier and faster is this, so I can see their navigation down below where I'm working. I could do this on 2 monitors, but you can't see the 2 monitors, so that's kind of silly. So let's have browse events. We're not going to have a crazy amount of drop downs here with overview, pricing, blogging resources right now, because I don't want to take all day to build this for you. So I'm just going to call this create event instead of organize. And that's just going to be one link where they can then go to create an event. I'll create the help, which will be like a contact us page. going to click on Save Menu. And then I'm just going to build the bottom menus in the footer. Well, let me scroll all the way down to the footer. Okay, let's click on Create New Menu. I'm going to call this one Footer 1. So I'm just going to fast forward. You can watch as I do it, and it's going to be really quick. Okay, now we have all our menus created. Footer 1 for this one, Footer 2, Footer 3, Footer 4, and then bottom footer. And we also built the main nav. And this Footer 3 here, where we have all these events that may look a little strange to you, these are localized to me. So it's detecting I'm in Canada. So it shows me a bunch of Canada locations or Canadian locations. But I know EventBrite is a worldwide website. So there's eventbrite.co.uk, there's eventbrite.com. And even when I'm on EventBrite, I can go to the search section here, type in Los Angeles, and it lists events for a lot of major cities in the US and the UK right here. But it has events from all around the world. But this section here is localized to me. That's going to require some JavaScript and some IP checking, things like that. But we're not going to do that for this tutorial. We could do that for a different one if that's what you want to see. Just leave a comment in the description down below if you want to know how to localize things like that. And it doesn't work all the time. Some people spoof IPs, some people block their IPs, some people hide their IPs. So it's not like localization works all the time, but when it does work, it's pretty cool. So next thing we're going to do is build the nav as an Elementor template and the footer as an Elementor template. And then we're going to build everything in the middle, which is the actual content of the website. So to build templates, I'm just going to put this tab back into the main tab here. To build out templates, we're going to go to Elementor and then My Templates. So I'm going to click on Add New Template to create our first template. And I'm going to select the header option. And I'm going to call this Website Header. Click on Create Template. After we finish designing the template, then we can define where it's going to appear, which is going to be everywhere. But we can set that after we are finished designing it. And I'm not going to choose any of these things. I'm going to close that. I'm going to add a section, a two-sided section, two-column section, because we have a logo on one side and menu on the right. This actually isn't really a logo, it's actually text on the page, which is what we're going to do as well. But we're going to add a two-column section, like so. I'm going to add or search for, just right here, nav menu over there. I'm going to choose the main nav that we created earlier. And we already have a nice little nav menu going on. Hover effects aren't quite what we want. Not yet anyway. Let's move that to the right or align to the right. Hover effects for this menu, we have a slight color change as we hover. So I've got some new add-ons here. After the last video, you guys suggested a lot of different add-ons I could use. I'm pretty old school when it comes to websites and coding, so I just go into the inspector and I find stuff there, but there's all kinds of fancy add-ons these days that I downloaded. One of them is called Visual Inspector, which is actually pretty neat. It has free versions and paid versions. I can't seem to move it out of the way. I'm acting a little glitchy right now. So let me move this out of the way. Anyway, this is Visual Inspector here. You can click on Visual Inspector in the Chrome add-ons tab here. Click on any element and it shows you information about that element, including CSS output for the element, colors. Pretty sure these are all the colors on the web page. Typography on the web page, and then specific to this element, we have the position, the size, typography, color. Let's get this color. Copy that. Head back into here. Make sure we're in our nav menu. Go to Style. Change the text color to this one. Let's change the weight to be normal. Actually, hold on, the weight, normal. Head back over here. The font size is 15 for the menu. Let's change that to 15 pixels. And then the font family is new plaque. If that doesn't exist, then it's Apple System. If that doesn't exist, it's System UI. If that doesn't exist, it's Roboto. And I've checked the other three. Elementor does not have these first three, but it does have Roboto. So I'm just going to choose Roboto for the font family. Now we're already pretty close, but you'll notice that that is actually the hover color. We have a lighter color for when it's not hovered. So I'm going to go back to my old tricks, go back to inspect, because you can get all this stuff, all this information and more from the inspector, not just from these fancy add-ons. So here's the color when it's not hovered. Copy that. I'm going to put it in here, take out the original, which is the hover color. I have our main color, go to hover, text color, paste in that one. Now we have the color change. We don't want to have a pointer. Let's change the pointer to none. And now we're getting pretty close to their nav menu up here. We don't have any drop downs on ours, so we're not going to style any of those. Let's get our website name on the left. Oh, it's right here. Site title. And currently it's Let's Build, and that's not the actual site title. So let's go into the WP admin. Let's go to settings and then general, and let's change this to event. Let's do all lowercase. Event beam. Your event ticket destination. Let's save that. Because theirs is all lowercase, all one word. So we're going to copy that kind of style and that kind of idea. Going to try this again with this visual inspector here. Click on EventBrite. It's funny because that's definitely not the color that we see there. That definitely looks pretty orange, not so blue. If I go into inspect, do it the old school way, I also don't have the color. So I also have a color picker add-on. So let's pick a color from the page. So I did have the color. It looks orange here, it looks red here. So I did have that in the inspector down here. This red one, wherever it is. Anyway, I saw it in the inspector, it just looked too red, so I didn't choose that one. So now we have the color. Let's go in here for the style of this guy. Let's set this color to that. Let's save this. We'll add the condition now for the footer. Include where on the entire site. So it's going to be the footer for the entire site. Click on publish. And by footer, I meant header. So it's going to be the header for the entire site. Click on refresh, and then we should have the lowercase event beam version pulled in for the text there now. And there's our event beam. Let's go out here again, see if we can glean some more details regarding font size. Font size is being picked up by inspector, but not by the visual inspector. So font size is 15. Let's define that in here. 15 is definitely not the font size. Let's go a bit bigger. And I'm going to align this thing to the right, align this one to the left, and just get them in the same location. Just going to add some padding to the top. Get them at the same height so they're level. There we go, that's pretty good. And then put this guy back on the left, this guy to the right, and boom, we have our menu for the desktop version. Let's check out mobile or tablet first, see how that looks. Here's our menu on tablet. I think that's okay. We can choose not to have hamburger. We can test that out to see how wide it is, and it looks a little too wide. Let's stick with the hamburger. And then I'm going to put event beam in the center for mobile. And then on mobile, sorry, that was for tablet. And then on mobile, looks like this. I think that's pretty good. And back to desktop. I'm ready to rock and roll. We should add a white background. There's no background on here currently. Let's make this full width, because theirs is. And the background, let's make it white, like theirs is. And then update. Let's exit out of here, and let's make the footer. Go to Elementor, My Templates. Let's click on Add New. I'm going to make this the footer. I'm going to call this Website Footer. Click on Create Template. Let's go back to EventBrite. Let's scroll down to the very bottom. See if we can pick up this purple color. Let's use the color picker. Okay, there we go. Copy the color. That was much easier. I'm not going to create any blocks. I'm just going to start creating sections. So I'm going to have a 4-column section for this top part, 1, 2, 3, 4. And for the bottom, I'm going to create a 3-column section because we have the copyright, menu in the middle, and translation on the right. So I'm going to, if I can get back there, there we go. We have a 4-column section. I'm going to make a 3-column section. I'm going to resize these as we go. I'm going to change the background color for both of these. I'm going to make them both full width and boxed. Go to advanced. Sorry, go to style. Background color. Paste in the one we just copied. Same thing here. Stretch it. Full width, style, background color. Boom. Look at that. First things first, you want a headline. So you want use event beam for ours. So let's get a heading in here. Use event beam. Let's make it an H5. Not centered. We're going to make it white, just like theirs. It's pretty good. Let's see what the font size is. 14.62. I'll round it up to 15. Let's make it 15. 15 pixels. Roboto. Just like the other ones. And now, just add in our menu. And the menu font size is 12.5. Roboto is the link here. And color is this grayish color. So I'm going to copy that color. Remember 12.5 for the font size. So let's get a nav menu below event beam. Make it footer 1. Make it vertical. Align it left. Let's make the color, or the size first, 12.5. Family, Roboto, text color, that light grayish. Want our font weight at normal. We want to reduce the spacing, so let's have some space between reduction here. That's at 0 already. Vertical padding reduction. Theirs is quite close together. That's pretty good. Change the horizontal padding so it's all the way to the left, aligned with use event beam, and change the pointer color to the same color as the text. Now what we have is an issue. This is one of those things where Elementor, as far as I know, doesn't do everything. So if we hover over here, we have this pointer that goes all the way across as we hover. EventBrite just has the regular link decoration as you hover on the link, just a simple underline for the link. So what I'm going to do, you may not like this, I'm going to do CSS. So the pointer, you can keep it as this. This is pretty close to what we're designing there. I'm going to put it to none. So now we have no pointer, and I'm going to go to advanced custom CSS and just add a, we have to change that selector in a minute, but a text decoration underline. I've got to make this the hover pseudo selector. So a on hover, we're going to underline our text. So now we have the regular links just like they do. like so. This is one of those things where Elementor does a lot of stuff and it tries to be very fancy, and that's great, but sometimes the basics are lost. And I don't know how to set this. Maybe you can have this set in Elementor itself without using CSS, where it's just the regular underline, not all those fancy pointers and frames and double underlines. So if we take this back out again, we see it's gone. Put that back in, and we have the underline. That's pretty simple CSS. You should be able to manage that, I hope. If not, that's fine, because just use the regular pointers. It doesn't have to be that you design a site exactly to match a different one. You shouldn't. You just get some ideas and make your own. So I'm just saving it. Just going to click on Publish, add a condition. The footer is going to be on the entire site. Click on Publish, just because it's smart to save your work. So I'm going to copy this now that we have our link. Underlining working. Just copy all these over to here. Edit these in a second. Copy this one. And these are going to be called Plan Events, Find Events, Connect with Us. This one is going to be menu 2. This one is menu 3. This one is menu 4. And boom, just like that, we have the main footer. Hang on, not quite yet. Let's add some padding. Padding top. Maybe about like that. Just like that, we have the main footer, just like theirs. Just got to add the bottom one as well, but we have that main big one. Pretty straightforward. Let's add some text in here. I'm just going to use regular text editor. This is going to be, let's see what they have. Copy 2018 EventBrite. So I'm going to have copy, which is an ASCII character or an HTML character. Ampersand copy colon creates this little copy icon that you see down here that I can't hover over because the column widget, column icon gets in the way. But that copyright symbol is created in HTML using this. 2018 event beam. Now let's see what kind of font size and font color we have here. Font size 12.5, color is this one. Style color is this one. Font is Roboto. Size is 12.5. Weight is normal. And there we go, that's pretty good. Now we have our next menu to go in there, the bottom middle. Let's get another nav menu in there. This is bottom footer, already selected that, that's great. Horizontal, which is what we have here, and that's the one they have as well. It's not vertical, it's horizontal. We want to stretch it for the entire width, and we want to stretch it out so it actually fits in here. So let's do it. Yeah, it's a little far. Let's do it like that. And we're going to adjust some padding and things. But we have these underlines as well. We don't want those. Let's see what theirs does. Just the regular underlines like this one. So let's copy this and paste the style. And we have to adjust some spacing, clearly. So let's do that. Style and horizontal padding. It's going to have to be more than that. Vertical padding looks good. Space between all that looks fine. On the right hand side, we have the option to translate. Right now it's Canada English, and you have all kinds of languages you can translate to. We're not going to translate. I'm just going to put the Canada English or translate here or something over there. Not actually going to have a translation widget on this site right now, because like I said earlier, I don't want this to take all day. I want you guys to gain some knowledge, but not have it take forever. That also said, if you want me to do things like that, leave a comment in the comments down below and let me know. So let's translate here. And there we go, and that text is white as well. So let's make that color white. It's the same color as the menu, which is not exactly white. All right, did that actually take effect? Yes, it did. And the last thing we want to do is between their menu items, we still have our pointer showing up here. Let's turn that off first. Pointer to none. There we go. So between their navigation items in the footer, they have those nice little dots. Now, we're going to do that with CSS. That's another one of those things that Elementor doesn't do, even the Pro version. You might be able to get that done with Font Awesome. I couldn't do it. I tried a little bit before this video. I couldn't get that dot done with Font Awesome, but you can get it done with CSS. So I inspected their element. I opened the list class for the item, and the after pseudo selector is where they're adding that dot. And this is the CSS for it right here. So I'm just going to copy this, and we're going to put that into advanced CSS. Now this is going to apply to all of our links at first, and we don't want that. So I'm just going to put this in and say after. Now we have the little button appearing there. It's not quite how we want it to appear. So there's a little bit of work we have to do. So what I've realized is that just adding the A applies to all links. I was hoping that it would just apply to this element itself, but it's applying to all links on the page. So we're going to have to add some IDs or classes to each element. So we want this content after each link to only appear on this element here. So I'm going to go into advanced and give it a class of bottom footer. Sorry, an ID of bottom footer. Copy that, put that for this link. And now we have those things just appearing on the bottom footer. Elementor does something funny where the after pseudo selector isn't done quite right. I don't know why, but Elementor is making it so it only appears when you hover on it, and it should appear all the time. So what I'm going to do is change the opacity to 1. So that's how you fix that with Elementor. I'm going to change the size of this to bigger, maybe 16. That looks about right. I'm going to change the background color from green. I don't even know where it's picking up that green background color. Probably from the accent color inside of Elementor. I'm going to change it to transparent so that we don't see that crazy green. And I'm going to change the color of the actual dot to the same color as the text. Put that right in here for the color. Let's put a hashtag in front of that instead of an @ symbol. Now we're looking a bit better. We still have the text underlined for the dot itself. So we're going to also make our hover specific to each menu item. What you'll notice is, like I said, this applies to all the links on the page. So we want to have just very specific selectors that the hover applies to. So for each one of these, I'm going to add a class. I'm going to call this BigFooter to denote all of these. So I'll make all of them the same ID. Sorry, not class. Same ID. And put that on this one as well. BigFooter. Put that in the CSS. There we go. So let's just get our dots in the right position first. So in EventBrite, they're about the same distance apart. They are slightly darker as well. But let's move these a bit closer together. Horizontal padding is quite slim over on their site. Can't even get any smaller than that. And let's move these dots around a bit. So the top, I'm going to move them down just 1 pixel. Want to have the padding on the left and right a little more. In fact, I want to have less than the left. So let's do this. That shorthand way we had it is just the same as this. And this is the 0. The first 0 is the top. Second 0 is the CSS on the left, or the padding on the left, sorry. So let's make that 10. Let's make that 10, maybe. And then this one, this 0 is the bottom, see it, the bottom padding. This is the padding on the right. So let's move that up to 20. Looks like we're almost there, 22. That looks close enough, I think. So the last thing we have to do is get rid of this last dot after cookies. And again, with CSS, I'm sorry, but it has to be done sometimes. So if we select the bottom footer ID and then A, and then there's something called child selectors. So you can go A : last child : after, open and close curly braces, and now change the background color to blue, and this should select only the last one. But in this case, it selects all of them. So let's try nth child. And then in brackets, just have number 1. That selects all of them as well. So that should only select the first one, but it's selecting all of them. So there's something, again, with Elementor that's getting confused in here. So what we're going to do is update this, and then go to preview, scroll down. We're going to inspect the very last menu item, and we have unique class names for each one. Menu item 50 through 59. So I'm going to copy menu item 59 as a class. I'm going to put that right here and change this to get rid of the last child selector because we just selected it with that menu item. So now we have just the last one selected. And let's change this to content : open and close brackets, and just have nothing in between. And now we have our dot at the end removed. Now what you could also do potentially is go into general settings, not general settings, go into menus, and you could possibly add the dots after the text in these menu areas. But the problem with that is you're either going to have no space, so you're just going to add, like, for example, copy here, which is going to add a copyright after the about. So if I save this and I head back out to the preview here, refresh the page, we're going to have a copyright symbol after the about. Now the problem with that is you can't define the spacing very easily. You'd have to come back in here, you'd have to add a bunch of non-breakable spaces, which would force it to move over as far as you want it to. So you have to add a bunch of these, and that's all hard coded. That's not very easy to change after the fact. So I wouldn't recommend doing it that way, but you can. You could also possibly use Font Awesome icons, and you could give them a span class. So you have span, I believe Font Awesome is actually the I tag. So it'd be Font Awesome something or other, something like FA circle, and then you close the I tag, and that would put the circle in here. But then you could select all those I tags and space those, but again, that's with CSS. So if you want to add fancy things like these dots to your footer, you're going to have to use CSS. Elementor does not provide that functionality, and because we're trying to copy what EventBrite's doing, we just have to use CSS. I'm sorry, I know some of you guys don't like CSS, but often, if you want to create something cool and custom, there's no way around it. You got to do it. So now we have all those dots done. We have all our menus done, and we're ready to rock and roll on creating the actual EventBrite functionality. I should first test this in mobile. So let's change this to tablet, see if we like how it looks. So we have a bunch of hamburger menus appearing. So I'm actually going to set these to disappear on tablet because I don't want all those hamburger menus down there. So I'm going to go to responsive under advanced, hide on tablet, hide on mobile, and this only takes effect on the actual preview or live site. Won't take effect in the builder here. So those will continue to appear here. If I go to update and then preview the change out here, let's refresh. We have it there for desktop. If we spoof a tablet, it's now gone for the iPad. So we just have the bottom menu. It's a lot cleaner. I like that much better. I noticed that my @ symbol is still there after the about, so I'm going to delete this. Save this menu, get rid of that @ symbol. I'm going to change the color of the hamburger icon to white. So we have our hamburger, go to style, go to toggle button, change the color to white. I'm going to change the same color as the text down. You know what? No, I'm going to keep it at white. White's good. Okay, update, exit to dashboard. And after that, all that, we now have the main core of the site, because the EventBrite website actually doesn't have a lot going on besides the custom header and footers. It has a bunch of content on the homepage, but if you go, for example, to create event, it has almost nothing on the page. The header is very minimal, and you just create your event. It's the big form for creating your event. And so that's what we're going to do as well. We're going to keep it very minimal. We put in a lot of time getting the header and footer just right, and we are now going to create the actual pages that have the shortcodes for the WP Event Manager plugin that create that functionality super easily for us. We're going to start doing that right now. So to do that, I'm going to create a new page. I'm going to go to Pages and then Add New, and I'm going to choose Edit with Elementor. Actually, first I'll give it a title. I'm going to make this the home page, Save Draft, then Edit with Elementor. I'm going to switch to Settings and then Page Layout, Elementor Full Width. That's going to get rid of the sidebar and just have our menu at the top and footer at the bottom. And this little home across the top, that's an Ocean WP setting. So it's going to pop out of here again. And let's close that. I'm going to go into Appearance and then Customize. And we're going to get rid of this home bar at the top. Depending which theme you're using, this might be done differently. So this is Ocean WP. This is how you do it in Ocean WP. Once Customize loads, go to General Options, Page Title, under Style, select Hidden, and then Publish. Now if we go back into here, I'm just going to publish this page, or you can save the draft just to make sure you have a copy of it, and click on Refresh, and now our home bar here with the title should be gone, and it is, and now we can go ahead and build our home page. So the first thing we want to do is add in our event code. There's a bunch of short codes available with WP Event Manager. So if I go to Support and Documentation and just look up short codes, we have them right here. Event submission form shortcode, event listings, single page event, event dashboard, and event summary. And I believe it's the event listings one that we want for the home page. Yes, this is what we want. And the shortcode is simply events. So I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to add the shortcode widget. Just going to search for it, drag and drop it over here. I'll add that to a new section, paste in our shortcode, and we're going to have our widget populated. And this is how it looks out of the box. I'm going to add a title, and we're going to put an image above so it looks a little more like the EventBrite homepage. Just go back to their homepage. So it's going to have a big image at the top, and it's going to look a little bit like this, but like I said, this functionality that we have here is all very custom coded. You could change this plugin using CSS and update the display of it to look pretty much like this, but that would take a long time and a lot of CSS. So we're not going to touch that. We're just going to make it look pretty similar. And the way we're going to do that is first we're going to add a big image at the top. So let's add another section. I'm going to make this stretched, full width, and I'm just going to add an image. You know what? I'm going to make it a background image so we can parallax it. So I'm just going to click on the 6 dots here. I'm going to go to Style for background. Click on the pencil or pen or a paintbrush, sorry. So I'm going to upload some nice big images I have. And I'm going to use this one, nice restaurant image or some kind of catered event. My image size is 1920 by 710. I'm going to insert that. There it is right there. I'm going to drag that above. I'm going to change the height to minimum height. And I might adjust this as we go, but for now, just so we can see the image and what it looks like, I'm going to change the minimum height to this. And now we have our nice image at the top. Looks very nice. And we're going to move this up a little higher. Actually, first we're going to add a heading to this. So let's add a heading. So let's just drag and drop this guy in there. And what do they have for theirs? Not really. They have images that have text on them. So I'm going to say, look up events near you. I'm going to center that. I'm going to change the color. I'm going to make it white because I will make the background of this the same purple they have. So let's get that purple. Pick up the purple, please. There we go. Now we have that purple. Click on the text, and in the background, I'm going to change the color to that color. I'm going to change the margin and the padding below to 0. I'm going to change the padding on this one to 0 as well. And I'm also going to add negative padding below this to move it up, or like a negative margin, I should say, just because I want that to be touching. So let's get those right close together like that. I'm going to add, first I'm going to make this a little bigger. Let's change the typography, make it Roboto, which is the font for the rest of the site. Make it a bit bigger so it's nice and clear what you should be doing. I'm going to keep the font weight and everything else. I'm going to change the padding so that top and bottom we have some padding. Let's make that 50 top and 50 bottom. That looks okay. Now we're going to move this whole section up by clicking on the 6 dots. Go to Advanced, Margin Top. We're going to add, let's try -100, even more. Let's get it right up there. And we can see there's a little gap between our little elements here. So let's fix that gap. That should take care of it. I think that's not bad. If we change the height of this image up here, we see we can move it up even higher. So depending on where this image is, our elements, our title and our widget are going to be changing based on where that image is. But I think that's fairly okay. It's fairly close to what theirs is. That's pretty good. And this will show events in your area once we have some events. So I'm going to change this image so it has parallax. I'm quite obsessed with parallax right now. And I'm going to change it by going to Style, Attachment, Fixed. So now when we scroll, the image will stay fixed while the background scrolls over top of it. I find that very snazzy. And I want my menu to be sticky as well. We have to change that in the menu customization or in the header template. We'll do that later, if at all. But if you do want to change the menu, it's really easy. Just go to Advanced, go to Scrolling Effect, pick Top, and that will keep the menu stuck at the top as people scroll down. So if I don't get to that, or if I forget about it, or if I feel this tutorial is getting way too long, I might not do that. And that's how you do it. Advanced, Scrolling Effect, Sticky, and then Top to make the menu appear at the top. If you choose bottom, it's going to stick to the bottom of the page. That's probably not where you want it. That's where you want a footer to be. So now we have this page created. Like I said, the page is pretty minimal because the widget does a whole lot of stuff, and you're going to see it once we start adding some events to this. So let's create the next page. Exit to Dashboard. I'm going to add a new page, and I'm going to call this page Create a Listing or Create a Post. Just going to get the shortcode right now and double check I got the name right. Let's call it, the shortcode is called the Event Submission Form, and I'm going to call it Create an Event. Copy that. Name this Create an Event. Save draft. Edit with Elementor. And just like EventBrite, like we saw earlier, when you create an event, it's very minimalist. They don't have anything going on really. And the way this displays, we can't get it just like this because the widget or the plugin we're using is very different. So without a whole bunch of custom CSS work, we're not going to get to look like this, but we can work with the functionality of the plugin and get very similar functionality. So now we have this page open. We're going to go back to our settings, page layout, make it full width again. So we have a header at the top, footer at the bottom, and nothing in the middle. And in the middle, I'm going to add a full width section. And I'm going to go to my grid icon to see my elements. I'm going to look up shortcode, drag and drop that in there, paste the shortcode in, and here is our event submission form. It fills it all in right here. Super, super simple. And this works out of the box. We can save this page, we can create an event immediately. And the fields that you see here, they can be changed and edited to your needs by going to Event Listings, Field Editor, and all these fields here are the exact fields you see on the Create an Event template form here. And you can drag and drop them in the field editor Drag and drop and move them around as needed. Add fields, remove fields. Just create the form that you need. But keep in mind that people are going to be using this form to create all kinds of events. So make sure your form includes everything that will be needed for all the types of events you're accepting on your website. So now that that's in there, this page is almost done. I'm just going to create a headline so people know what this page is. Let's create a headline. Let's call this create an event. Pretty straightforward. And I'm actually going to copy this styling from our homepage. So let's go to pages, go to our homepage and edit with Elementor. Right click on our widget here or on our element. Did the wrong thing, pasted, should be copying. Copy that. Right click on this heading, paste style. Now we have our heading style. I'm going to make sure that we don't have all these margins, although maybe we do want those margins. They don't seem to be causing a problem. I'll split that to 0. That's fine. I'm going to make this full width, and I'm going to trim down the padding by half. And I'm going to change the font size just to make it not so in your face. I'm going to make it full width as well. It's going to have to be its own section to be full width, and that's fine. I will just make a new section. Single section. Open the navigator. Drag that new section to the top. Plop this heading in there. Make this new section full width. There we go. Now we have a nice headline at the top. Publish that page. And our create an event page is, for all intents and purposes, done. Now we want to create an event dashboard. So instead of logging out of here, because I might want to copy that styling again, let's log out of this homepage one and create a new page called, let's call it My Dashboard. Go to Pages and then Add New. Call this page My Dashboard. Save draft. Edit with Elementor. While this is loading, we'll get the shortcode. Go back to the documentation, and our event dashboard shortcode is this one right here. Event dashboard. Copy that. Go back into here. Go to settings again. Make the page layout Elementor full width. Click on the grid icon and look up shortcode again. Drag and drop the shortcode in. Paste our shortcode in on the side. And now we have a place where if we have created an event, this is what information is going to be, which we'll see in a few minutes after we've created some events. I'm going to add a title here as well so we know what page this is, or people know what page it is when they come there. I'm going to copy this whole section over there. Paste, there we go. Drag and drop that up above. I'm going to rename this to My Event Dashboard. That makes it very clear what this page is about. Publish that. I'm just going to update the links up here. So when we go to the home page, which we will in just a second, we have functioning links that actually work. So go to Appearance and then Menus and change the menu to Main Nav. Click on Select. I'm going to add the 3 new pages, Home, Create an Event, My Dashboard. Add those to our menu. I'm going to delete the custom link events, or the custom links, I should say. Drag and drop these to reorder them. I'm going to rename this to My Event Dashboard. Click on Save menu. Now if we go to the actual website, actually first we have to set the home page. So first go to Settings and then Reading and pick a static page for the home page and make it the one called Home. Click on Save Changes, or in my case it's called Home, might be called Home Page, or it might be called something else for your case. Go to the website and see how it looks. So here we have a pretty cool looking little event website. It's going to be even cooler once we add some more things, which we'll do in just a minute. But we have our home page here. We have our create an event page. If we click on there, we have our nice form to fill out. It detects me as being logged in as Bjorn. You can sign out, or a visitor can sign out and sign in as someone else. So if they have an account on the website, they can create an event. Under My Event Dashboard, we have our page that's going to have our actual events. So now we're going to add a couple more plugins to add some more functionality. If we go to create event one more time, we will see if we scroll down a little bit, we have ticket options, free and paid. For paid, it's just ticket price, and that's it. Actually just adds the ticket price item here. And it's not actually something you can pay online with this plugin out of the box. We have to add an add-on. So if we go back to the plugin website, we go to the add-ons, there's a add-on called Ticket Seller or Sell Tickets right here. You need this add-on, which also uses WooCommerce and payment gateways through WooCommerce to be able to accept payments for an event. So we're going to add this add-on, and we're going to add the calendar add-on, which is a great little feature that you'll see the power of in just a minute, and the Google Maps add-on, which helps people find events near them when they're searching for events using the event finder. All these add-ons are optional. You don't need them to create an events website, but the events that you do create are just static events that are just there for display. And the event registrations plugin allows people to actually register for an event on your site. If you don't have the registrations plugin, they register by emailing, which might be fine for some cases, but adding this add-on allows people to register directly on your site. Combined with sell tickets, you can have paid tickets, you can have free tickets and donation tickets when you use the sell tickets. And attendee information allows you to add more fields that people have to fill out when they register. So you can have simple name, email, and either pay me for a paid ticket or a donation or a free ticket, or you can have a whole list of information you need from people, like maybe allergies if it's a catering event, or how many guests you're bringing, things like that. But you can use that, you can add those with the attendee information add-on. So I'm going to add these all at once, and then we're going to create some event listings and see how those work. So I'm going to head back into the website. I'm going to exit out of this page, and I'm going to go to plugins and then add new, go to upload plugin, and then I'm going to drag and drop the first plugin into here, click on install now, and then click on activate. And all the other plugins work the same way. I'm going to upload them and activate and install them the same way. So I'm just going to fast forward through that, or even skip it entirely, and you'll come back to this video when they're all uploaded. So I'm going to do that right now. Now that we have all those plugins installed, it says we need WooCommerce to sell tickets. So we're going to go to add new, and WooCommerce provides the payment gateways that will be used to sell those tickets. So let's look up WooCommerce, or just WooCo, that should do, and it does not do. So look up WooCommerce, and that should do. There's WooCommerce right here. Install now, then click on activate. I'm going to skip the setup for the WooCommerce plugin. I'm not going to worry about the secure connections issue right now because we're on localhost. And I'm not going to worry about this Gutenberg notice as well. Dismiss that. Now we have a lot of plugins installed, but we still need to install a payment gateway because WooCommerce can do some things out of the box, but it doesn't have a lot of payment gateway tie-ins. So we need to go to plugins and add new and add some more WooCommerce add-ons. So if we look up WooCommerce, let's try WooCommerce payment. We're going to choose the WooCommerce PayPal payment gateway, but there's Stripe, there's PayPal powered by Braintree. There's all kinds. I'm going to choose PayPal checkout payment. I'm going to click on install now and then activate. And now we have everything we should need. If we go to the front end, the very first thing I'm going to do is create a listing, because then I can show you all the different things that these plugins have added as we create a listing. So let's go to the front end, visit site, go to create an event. We can see the Google Maps has been added already down here. It's not localized anywhere in particular because we don't have anything created yet. Once we create some things, we'll be seeing some stuff in there. So let's create an event. This first, we're going to make a high school grad fundraiser. Is it an online event? No. The address will be DF Street 2200. Is that even an address? I don't even know. Area code will be 90210. Who doesn't like that one? Location, Los Angeles. I'm not going to choose an event banner. Actually, I am because it's required. Let's choose an event banner. And I'm going to choose, I don't have one made for this. I'm going to choose this one. It doesn't look like a grad, but Looks like a nice little table there. Description, dry grad, fundraiser. Registration email, here you set the email. So this is the email that will be sent to, or if you don't have the registrations plugin installed, the add-on, this would be the email that's listed as the email you send your registration information to. So set an email there or not. Set a start date. I'm going to make it September 29th at 5 p.m. is the start. End date, the 30th at 10 a.m. because we party all night long. Link to an event. This could be an external page right here. Registration deadline is optional, but you can set it here. Paid tickets is added by the Sell Tickets add-on. If we click on Paid Tickets, we can ask for payment for a ticket. So let's call this the VIP ticket. Quantity, I'm going to say is 100. Ticket price, I'm going to say is 100 because this is a fundraiser, so we got to raise some funds. Sales start, let's start them the week before, and they end the night of, so you can buy them the night of. Under settings, we have some more information available. So the ticket description, this is a VIP ticket for VIPs. I don't have a better description for yours, but that's pretty good for here. Show description. So this can either be shown or not. I'm going to show my description. Who are the fees paid by? Are they paid by the attendee or by the organizer? Choose which one, the organizer being the person who created the event. So you can create all types of different events. In this case, it's a fundraiser, so we want the attendee to pay, not me, the person working at the school organizing the fundraiser, or the person on the grad committee organizing the fundraiser. We want the attendees to pay. Tickets visibility, public, because we want them to be able to see them, to buy them. Minimum number of tickets. So the minimum number is 0 per order. Let's make that 1. The maximum number is 5. Let's pretend our table size is 5. So you can buy a whole table for your group if you want to. Show remaining tickets, yes. Tickets sold individually. This is a maybe. If you want people to buy multiple tickets, you do not want to check tickets sold individually because this is 1 ticket per customer. But if you want someone to be able to buy a whole table, you want them to be able to buy 5 at a time. So check that depending on whether you want people to buy more than 1 ticket or not. I'm going to create free tickets as well. I'm going to call this one Spectator. Actually, no, I'm going to call this Volunteers, because every grad event needs volunteers. Ticket quantity, we have 50 volunteers. Sales start the week before and the day of. Under settings, we also have a description. This is for volunteers. Show description, make them public. Minimum number of tickets is 1. Max is 5 again. Show remaining, sold individually or not, up to you. Donation tickets, let's call this donation. Quantity, 100 again. Minimum price, say $50. That's not 50. Let's try it again, $50. Start date, let's start selling them the week before again and ending the day of. For the settings, this ticket is by donation. Donate as much as you want. Show ticket description, yes. Paid for by the attendee again. Make them public. Minimum number 1. Let's make the maximum number 10 so they can donate and buy 2 tables. Show remaining tickets, not sold individually. Now we move on to the next section beyond the tickets. So attendee information collection type. We have buyer only or each attendee. The difference being if someone buys 1 ticket, they fill in their information because they bought that 1 ticket. But if you want to be able to sell groups of tickets, so you want to sell 5 tickets to 1 person and they're vouching or buying for a whole table, you can set it so only the buyer submits their information. So just Bob, who buys the table, fills out their info. Or if Bob buys 5 tickets and you have each attendee selected, he has to fill out information for 5 different attendees. So keep that in mind. If you're selling blocks of tickets, the ticket buyer may have to fill in a lot of info, and that might be important, might be relevant for you, especially if you're taking note of any allergies or something. If you're catering, that's very important for each attendee. I'm going to change mine or keep mine as buyer only. And here's the information you can collect from the attendee. Right now we just have full name and email address. You want to collect other information? We set that up in the back end. So let's refresh, because this is an old page, because we have new items on the left here. So if we go to event registrations and then registration form, we see we have full name and email address. And those are the two options that we have in our create event, which is over here. Let's close that tab. I got confused there for a minute. So in our create event, we have a full name and email address of the information we can collect. Those are the only two. That's because we only have two set in here. We can add a new field very easily. So we can call this number of guests, make it a text area, make it required, make it numeric, save changes. And now I don't believe this is going to update dynamically on the front end. We'll have to refresh this page, which we won't right now because we're filling out, we have it half filled out already. But if when this page reloads, we will then be able to choose number of guests as input for the attendee information collected. We can edit that after as well. Organizer details. This is the information about the person organizing, or association or group or school or whatever, organizing the event. So the organization name, I'm going to call it Downtown High School. I'm not going to add a logo because I don't have one for the Downtown High School. Organizer description, Downtown High School grad class. Email, info@downtownhighschool.com. Website is optional, but I will put it in there just for completeness sake. Twitter, can add a pound. YouTube pound, Facebook pound. Now we have all the info in there. Click on preview, and we're going to get to preview what our information looks like. So at the very top here, we have not yet entered our Google API, so it's putting us in the ocean somewhere off the coast of Africa. So that's not quite right for that. I got to enter our API key to get that map right, which we'll do in just a minute. And then down below, we have the information about the event. We have that image we added. It's a pretty good looking layout. It's different than EventBrite because it's a different way of creating it, a different developer. And they don't want to rip it off exactly, but it's got all the similar information. When you're ready, click on Submit Listing, and listing details can be edited afterwards, of course. So we're going to fix the map in just a second. So here it says event submitted successfully. Your listing will be visible once approved. What does that mean? That means in the back end of the website, if we refresh, we're now going to have a little number appearing beside event listings. Number 1, which means we have one event to be approved. If we go here, here's the event. We can click on it to check out all the information about it. And here's all the info. Looks pretty solid to me. You can click on Save as Pending if you want to save it as that. You can change the URL, the slug, to something else, maybe something a little more SEO friendly if you don't like what the slug is in there. Click on Publish to add the event to the homepage. Sorry, not the homepage, but to add the event and approve the event. Then if we go to the homepage, come back out here, go to Home, we will now have our first event populated. It takes a second to load down here. And there's our first event. And again, the map's not right. We're going to do the Google API in just a second. But here we have our first event. And here's how it looks. Click on it. To open it, it'll look just like we saw a moment ago in the preview. And in fact, it might have a sidebar because it'll show on a blog page. So this can be removed by using an Elementor custom template. But we have all the event information. And if we go down here, we can click on Register for Event, fill in a name, email, number of guests. So that was auto-added. I didn't actually add that. It was auto-added, it appears, when it's saved. Send the registration that way. Or we can do it this way. This is the better way, obviously. So we can choose number of volunteers we want, donation, price of $50, how many do you want? You can change the amount to whatever you want as long as it's over $50. And in this case, it's pounds. We're going to set the currency in just a minute as well using WooCommerce. But when you have that all set up, you can order now. And we're not going to order yet because we don't have all that set up yet. To do a little more setup, let's fix the Google map, and then we'll set up the currency to make it the right currency. And then we're going to add some more event listings, and we're going to build out the homepage just with a couple, so we have something there to look at and check out more functionality of this plugin. So to get the Google map organized and get the API into the plugin, let's go to the settings for the WP Event Manager plugin. We head into the dashboard, then go to event listings and then settings. And in the general tab, we have a field for the Google API key. This will help the website and the plugin pull information related to your event. And if you install the Google Map plugin like we did earlier, you're going to need that plugin to do things like autocomplete addresses, show a world map with all the event locations on it, things of that nature. To acquire an API key, just click on this link right here. And I'm already signed in to a Google account. All you have to do is create a Google account, a free Google account. Or if you have a Gmail account, this works too. To sign into your Gmail account, go to this page, click on Get Started, and it's going to ask us at this moment these three things. This is different depending on when you're going to watch this for sure, because Google changes stuff all the time. But we want the Google Maps option. Going to go to Continue, going to create a project. I'm going to call it Event Beam. Click on Next. And even though this API is free, as long as you stay under the limits, we do have to have a billing account created. So we've got to create billing account if there isn't one already. Click on that button there. It's going to ask us what country we live in. Please update me for things if you want to be updated, yes or no. I'm going to go with yes. And have you read the terms of service? I'm going to say yes, even though I haven't. Click on Agree and Continue. Just going to fill in this form really quick. And we do have to enter a credit card number, which just makes sure that we're not a bot. We do have a certain number of free requests to the API. I believe it's 25,000 per day. So as long as you don't exceed 25,000 requests per day, there's no charge. But if you do go beyond that, they do charge you. And going over that 25,000 limit per day is a really heavy traffic website. So it's probably not going to affect you, but it might. So just be aware of that. I'm going to enter in my credit card details and then click on Start my free trial. Here we can enable 7 Google Maps platform APIs, and we can create an API key for our website. Click on Next. Here's our API key. Click on this little icon to copy it to the clipboard. Go back into our site, into settings, paste it in here, and now we have our functioning Google API key. Now if we come back out here, refresh this page, we should now, instead of being off the coast of Africa with our map, we should be much closer to 90210 Los Angeles, which is our address. If you recall from earlier, we set DF Street 2200, which is not a real street, but 90210 and Los Angeles are real places. And now the map is centered on Los Angeles. If I had a real street in there, it would be focused in on that street. But I don't know any real streets in California or Los Angeles, so it's just on Los Angeles itself. If we go back to the home page, that should also be updated. Let our event load. This one's currently on the CBS Television Studios. Very zoomed in. Let's see if that's in Los Angeles. It is in Los Angeles. So it's just auto-selecting. Maybe that's the center of Los Angeles because the street I chose doesn't exist for this event. But we are in Los Angeles, so that's fantastic. So the next thing I said we do is fix the currency. So if we go back to this event, well, not fix, but depending where you live, have a different currency. Right now it's in pounds, and where I live, we don't use pounds. So to change the currency, we have to go back into our WooCommerce settings and change it in there. And after that, we're going to create some more events, and then we're going to look at some more API features, the calendar features, and a bunch of other stuff that this plugin does. But first, let's fix this currency or change the currency. If we go into our back end again, go to WooCommerce and then settings. If we change our country, because I'm not in the UK, so I'm going to change my country to Canada, British Columbia. And down below, we have our currency options. Right now it's pound sterling, and I'm going to see if there's a Canadian dollar, and there is. Choose Canadian dollar, save changes, come out here and refresh this event, and that should now, right here, change to a dollar sign rather than a pound sign. And there's our dollar. Now we're going to add some more listings. I'm just going to fast forward through because we already created one. And creating this will be the exact same thing. We go to create an event, And I'm just going to create 3 more listings, and then we'll have some more juice to look at on the homepage and on the maps and all stuff like that. And I'll look up some real addresses too, so that it makes more sense for the Google API and the Google Maps plugin to find the locations on the map. So now I've added a bunch more events, 3 more, actually, not a bunch, I guess, so 3 more, and they are showing right here. And now what we can do, if we're searching for events, or someone comes to our site searching for events and say they want to find events in Pedro's Pizza is in London. We only have 1 event in London, but if we type in London, it pulls up all the events in London. So to tweak the map a little bit, but we have our London events down here. And if we have Paris, we have none in Paris. I think I have one in Australia. Australia. Oh, didn't have one there. Where is that? Florida. There's Mike's Music Festival in Florida. What's also nice is it will geolocate based on where you are. So you can choose to find events within a certain number of kilometers, or a certain number of, distance settings, miles or kilometers, and then order by distance, title, featured, or date. But you probably want to order by distance if you're ordering, or if you're trying to find a location near you. And when you're looking at the event listings page like this, we have our event listings as cards right now. If we click on this little button here, it shows them as a nice little list, which is very nice. Click on this little icon. This is added by the calendar add-on. We now have a calendar that shows a calendar with the dates and what the events are. If we hover over these, it shows us the date, or the event information. You can hover over any one of these. I only made 4, so there's only 4 on here, but if you have a very busy event site, this calendar could be totally full, which would be awesome. You can also create a separate page for your calendar events with a shortcode. And that shortcode you can find over here under support and documentation. And then we can go to event calendar. Maybe it shows a shortcode, maybe it doesn't. Here's a shortcode. So we put this shortcode into a page just like we did for the other shortcode pages on the site that we did earlier, and that will show a calendar, a full page calendar just like it is here. It looks very much the same, just so you can sort by dates and go month to month and things like that. But it's pretty much the same functionality as the calendar that is on the homepage if you click on the calendar option. So let's tweak some map settings. There are quite a number of map settings. If we go back into our site, go to event listings and then settings, just by installing the Google Map add-on, we have Google Maps general settings, spelling mistake there, Google Maps search form settings, and Google Maps single page settings. If we go to general, we can choose our language. I'm going to set this to English. Default region for the API. If you're a global place, don't set this. Google Address autocomplete for the admin. So when you're typing out addresses in address fields, do you want it to autocomplete, as in reach out to Google, ask it for data, and it autocompletes addresses for you? You can do that also for the front end when you create events. Autocomplete country restrictions. This takes out certain countries. So if you don't sponsor events in Canada, for example, you put in the country code for Canada. If you want to look up country codes, you go to Google, just look up country codes. There's a Wikipedia page that has all the country codes for the entire planet. Canada, I believe, is CA. If you put this in, you cannot have autocomplete for that country. You could still create an event for that country. You have to disable the event creation a different way, but you wouldn't have autocomplete for that country. Here we have our marker. We can choose different markers. So this is the default marker that we have on a Google map, which is just the Google icon, looks like this. So you could choose any PNG file. I'd make it about this size, but you could have a picture of your car about that size and have that be the icon on the map. You just put the URL to that icon in here. I'd have it a PNG file, so there's transparency if you need it, but that is where you'd add that map marker. Click on Save Changes since we changed some things. If we go to Google Maps search form settings, do we autocomplete on the map? This is on the home page with the Google search. The radius is the numbers that we have in that dropdown that measures the location distance or distance from us. This is what we can sort by. Do we display the map on the home page? Yes or no? How wide should it be? So right now it's the full width of the element, so we can change the width of that if we want. We can change the height of that if we want. We can change the map style to roadmap, satellite, hybrid, which is satellite imagery plus the road, and then terrain. We want to enable scroll wheel on Google Maps, and I have yes, and that just means if you have a mouse that has a little scroll wheel, you can zoom in and zoom out using that on the Google Map. I didn't change anything, so I'm not going to save anything here. If we go to Google Maps single page settings, do we display the maps on a single page? Yes or no? How wide is it? 100%. What's the height? 250. What type of map? Scroll wheel, yes or no? And zoom level is how zoomed in the map is by default. You can find more zoom levels by clicking here, so you don't have to do trial and error. So here it shows what the zoom level is. 1 is world, 5 is mass, 10 is city, 15 is streets, 20 is building. So the higher the number, 1 through 20, the more zoomed in you are. And that is what you set in here for the zoom level. I didn't change anything, so I won't save changes. The event tickets add-on that we have also added a settings tab. So here we're able to show paid ticket fields or not by checking this box. We can show free ticket fields or not by checking this box. We can show event registration add-on forms, which show up on the side of the listing, which are, if we go to, let's go to this one. So on the right-hand side, this little option right here is enabled by this. So if you uncheck that, save changes, and refresh this page, that blue register for event button is now gone. Then we're forced to only be able to register using the options for the tickets down below, which is likely what you want to do if you have the tickets add-on. We also have a calendar settings page, and here we either show calendar layout or we don't on the events page. I like to have it on there, just another way for people to display things or people to see things. I think it's really great, so I have that on. So last thing we have to do to make this site actually work and start selling tickets is create the WooCommerce checkout pages. They're really easy to create if using Elementor Pro, so we're going to do that in just a minute. And we need these in order to check out. And we're going to create them, and they apply to all the listings, but we're going to use this listing as an example because we already have our tickets already laid out, the paid and the free tickets. So we're going to create those pages really quick. We're going to go to Pages, Add New, and control clicking to open 2 new Add New tabs. And we're just going to create a cart page and a checkout page. So this first one, I'm just going to call cart. Click on Save Draft. Click on Edit with Elementor. Then click on Settings, Page Layout, Elementor Full Width. And then we're going to go to our grid icon. We're going to look up WooCommerce because there's a bunch of WooCommerce widgets inside of Elementor Pro. And we're going to look for WooCommerce widgets, or sorry, WooCommerce pages, which is this one right here. Drag and drop that in. From the page, we're going to select cart page. And this adds the shortcode for the cart. Currently our cart is empty, but there'll be something there in just a minute. To find these shortcodes, if you're not using Elementor, you don't have a page builder that pre-fills them, just look up WooCommerce, WooCommerce shortcodes. It should bring them up. Shortcodes included with WooCommerce, this one right here. And this will give you all the shortcodes. Here's a cart page right here. You just add the shortcode to a page just like we added the shortcodes previously in this tutorial for the WP Event Manager pages. So the two we're using is WooCommerce Cart and WooCommerce Checkout. So we have our cart in here, and this page is done. Click on Publish. Next page is the checkout page. So let's call this Checkout. Click on Save Draft. Then click on Edit with Elementor. Go to Settings, Page Layout, Elementor Full Width. Go to our grid icon. Look up WooCommerce. Drag and drop WooCommerce pages. Select Checkout Page. Cart is currently empty, and that's fine. Click on Publish, because it won't be empty for long. I'm going to close this page down, close the cart page down. Now we have to add this to 2 places. I want to have it up in our menu. So at the top of these pages up here, a place where you can go to the cart. And I want to set the endpoint pages inside of WooCommerce so it knows which pages are the cart and checkout, because they're not always the same. First, we'll add the page to the menu. So let's go to Appearance and then Menus. And I'm going to add the cart page. Usually you don't see checkout pages in the menu. Checkout pages are linked to from the cart page. Click on Save Menu. Then go to WooCommerce, Settings, go to Advanced, For the cart page, we're going to select from this drop down the cart. For the checkout page, we're going to select checkout. And if you're really building out an e-commerce platform here, you want to set the other pages as well and create the other WooCommerce pages. But I'm just showing you the bare bones of what you need to get up and running. And that's these two right here. Go down to the bottom, click on Save Changes. While we're in here, go to the Payments tab. I'm going to turn on PayPal. I'm going to click on Setup on the right. I'm going to make sure that this information is correct. The most important one, in my opinion, is the PayPal email. This is the email where the payment will be sent. So if this is incorrect, if someone pays, the payment will not go to the right place, which is not good. So make sure you set that properly. All the rest, I'm going to keep as they are. And another thing about payments, if we go back to the payment list here, if you install an additional add-on that added a certain payment gateway, you would see it listed here now. And then you could click Manage, turn it off and on by clicking this toggle, and set up that payment gateway. We're just using PayPal for our example. So now that we have all that done, we are ready to actually check out and buy some tickets. So let's go to our fundraiser page. I'm going to choose a VIP ticket. I'm going to click on Order Now. And now on the cart page, I can change the quantity if I want to. I can remove this item from the cart by clicking this X, or I can click on Proceed to Checkout if I want to pay for it. I'm going to do that. All my info is pre-filled. I'm just going to add in my information down here. All right, so we have all our data in. I'm going to click on Proceed to PayPal, and this will take us to the PayPal website, where we then log in to PayPal and then are able to pay with PayPal. Now this is where I'm going to stop, because I'm not actually going to buy a ticket for $100 to a fake event, but this is where the rubber meets the road. They would log into their account, or they click on this button to pay with their credit card, and then they'd have paid tickets. Go back to our listing, and we're going to buy some free tickets as volunteers for the event. So sign up 5 volunteers, click on Order Now. It adds them to the cart just like it would for anything else. We saw a VIP ticket in here. I'm going to X that out to remove it. Now we have just our volunteer tickets. I'm going to click on Proceed to Checkout. Has all my info in here. Just got to add my name again. And then click on Place Order. Now this is not redirecting to any kind of payment gateway. The site is just processing this registration for that event, and you can see a printable form that you can print out after this is done. So here's our printable form. So the person who is filling this out can print the form here. And in the back end of the website, if we go to event registrations, we now have me at the high school fundraiser, 5 tickets is $0. So that's what I just did right there. And that's for the admin to see that in the back end. But if this event was created by a user on your site, they don't have admin access. So what they do have access to is when they log into the site and whatever user role you set for them, they can go to My Event Dashboard. When they click on that, it shows them who is doing what, who's registered where. So right now we have 1 registration for the high school fundraiser. We have these other events as well that was created with this user account. Whatever the user account created as an event, those would be listed here. Registration's over here. If they click on that number, if there's a whole lot, you can filter by keyword, filter by status, filter by newest. You can see how many are new, confirmed, waiting, canceled, archived, and checked in. And checked in being when they actually show up at the event and are checked in. And then for the events themselves, you can delete them. These ones are expired. You can delete or relist them. You can cancel events, you can duplicate events. You can also edit events, which is very important. And that is how we do the checkout process. And you need the Sell Tickets add-on to make that work in combination with WooCommerce, in combination with whatever payment gateway you're using. But PayPal's built right in the PayPal standard version, which I showed you the example of earlier. There's one last thing I want to show you, which is the sidebar. I said earlier in the tutorial, we're looking at getting rid of the sidebar, but I want to show you can add widgets to the sidebar, so you may not want to get rid of it. If we go back into our dashboard and go to Appearance and then Widgets, we now have a bunch of widgets available to us. We have our events calendar. I'm just going to drag and drop all of them. So our events calendar, which the events calendar add-on adds. Our featured events, which is there without any add-ons. So this is with the free plugin. We have featured events. And I think that recent events, there's another one. This is events that have recently occurred. Upcoming events, events that are coming soon. And we can set the settings. They're all pretty similar. Featured events, short number of listings, 10, and the order you want to show them in. Recent events, you can define this or refine this based on keyword and location. You can set number of events to show and the order by. Upcoming events is the title, number of events to show, and the ordering. And the events calendar just has the events calendar title. I'm actually going to move that one to the top because I think that's the most important one. And those should all be saved. So if I refresh this page, we should have our event add-ons and widgets on the top here. So we have our events calendar. It's in bold where there's things happening. You hover over them and it shows the stuff that's happening on those days. And then we have our recent events here, upcoming events here. And it's a nice event card that you see. So it's very nice. Those are all clickable. And you go to those event pages to see what's going on with that event. And if you're using the registrations add-on, there's a couple more settings you should check out. If we go to event registrations, which is added, a menu item added by the registrations add-on, and we go to settings, we then have our registration methods checked by default here. You can restrict registrations to only registered users, which means that only logged in users, people who are logged into the site can register. And you can select multiple registrations. So if you check this box, it prevents users from registering to the same event multiple times, which is probably something you want to do. And under management, we have some more settings. We can delete event registrations when the event is deleted, which may or may not be what you want to do. If you want to keep historical data, you would not want to check this. If you don't want to keep historical data, or if you keep it outside, like say an Excel spreadsheet or something like that, you can check this. And here we can set the number of days after which to purge event data. If you have a website that has lots and lots and lots and lots of events with registrations, you may want to consider adding a purge date, so a number of days until things are purged. Otherwise, they'll just build up in your database, potentially slowing down your site. The choice is up to you. You can leave this blank and it won't purge anything ever, or you add a date or a number of days in here and it will purge after that number of days. And that is all there is right now. There's a lot more to the plugin, but we don't want this tutorial to go on for the entire week. So that is how we create an event listing platform where people can buy tickets, people can create events, people can see events, people can attend events, and all that kind of stuff. We modeled it after EventBrite, and that is how we do it.